Hello everyone, welcome back to a brand new episode of Finn React. Michael here. Today we're reviewing one of my old videos because with the football season being over, the Kansas City Chiefs are the most not well-liked team in the NFL and won the Super Bowl, Taylor Swift. I want to go back because I made a video prediction of how the season was going to go. And to be honest, I was dead wrong on most of this list. And I feel like we're going to have to do this again for the next season coming up. But God, I can't believe how my list went. Anyway, I was way off for most of this stuff. So let's check it out.
Today, while this tier list is actually kind of different, with the NFL coming within 2 weeks, we need to have a prediction of how we're going to see all these teams work around. Now,
and here's the thing, I expected a lot about most of these teams. Boy, was I wrong. A lot of these teams just blew it. And a lot of teams that were expected to be sucky were actually good. So, this is going to be embarrassing to watch for myself.
I broke down to 5 categories. Super Bowl contenders.
Yep.
Playoff contenders.
Yep.
Who's going to miss the playoffs.
Probably.
Who's a mediocre team that's just not going to be there. And the early number 1 draft pick favorite.
This is probably going to be my most of the list idea of how I'm going to do it for the new season coming up, because it actually is very legit. So it actually kind of works well with this.
What team or what your team will land on? Well, that would depend on how I feel. Once again, this is just my opinion. You can do something like this yourself, guys. Let me know in the comments below what you think. So, first off, we start with the 49ers.
You know, a lot of people expected 49ers to actually win the Super Bowl, so the fact that they actually did good this year and below it somehow, it shows that they choke in most important matters, and they did that the year becoming against the Eagles, and they did that this year against the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl. So they were definitely a Super Bowl contender. I would never change that idea.
See, last year they were a very good favorite.
They were.
The
Still were.
This year, right now, they got the great weapons they have. I mean, they have
Absolutely. And it's funny enough, I don't really talk about this because I had fantasy. Deebo Samuel is a very underrated player to draft because he did great. As much as he got hurt, at least for 2 or 3 games, he came clutch when I needed him the most.
He's still kind of challenging because you never know how Purdy's going to do. You already know something.
And that's the thing. People thought Purdy was going to be downfall this year, so
It's going to be the backup, and Trey Lance is probably going to be a trade away within the next
He
year.
was! He was! Called
I can't
it!
consider them the Super Bowl favorite just yet, because I think there's still more.
Oh, I definitely should have put them as a Super Bowl contender. I thought I'd put them playoff contender because they do choke.
That they need to work on, but they are definitely a playoff contender.
That was a dead wrong
Alright,
pick.
Chicago Bears. Well, they weren't the best team last year.
Yeah.
They ended up trading their draft pick last year.
Yeah, well, actually, smart, dumb move. Mostly a dumb move, but you know what?
I mean, they did make some progression throughout the offseason. They got DJ Moore, which is...
And the fact that they're the number 1 draft pick this year, it changes a lot about how the NFL is going to go with the Bears. Because Justin Fields is up for the question of whether he's getting traded or they're going to go for Caleb Williams, rumor. But I think Chicago would be dumb to go for Caleb Williams. Justin Fields is still mid, but he's there. Definitely in the top 20.
Great help for them. Justin Fields is going to be a mediocre quarterback.
Exactly.
I don't see the hype like most people do with Justin Fields.
I know, right? People gave shit that said this guy was going to be the top 10. I can name probably 10 quarterbacks that were way better than him. Tony DeVito. Hey!
I think it's safe to say we'll put them as the mediocre.
Oh boy, was I wrong for that one. They were definitely a number 1 draft pick. Makes sense.
I don't know what they're going to pull out. Cincinnati Bengals.
Oh god. The hype for Cincinnati was so talked about, and then they just blew it. Burrows got hurt. They had no quarterback. God, that was so funny and entertaining to watch. My neighbor's a Bengals fan, so you know what? It was very satisfying to watch the Bengals just suck. God, it felt so good. They were the last place losers. Pittsburgh did better than them, and they made the playoffs.
Okay, as a Ravens fan...
Wait, no, they did? Kind of.
I want everyone in my division to do horrible.
I did. They kind of did. Except Baltimore, who was number one. Number one!
Unfortunately, they just have weapons. Joe Burrows is good.
They were mediocre this year. They belonged in the mediocre category.
So unfortunately, it does make them a Super Bowl contender. Once again,
Nope.
in my opinion, in reality, I could say screw the Bengals.
Yeah!
The Buffalo Bills. See, here's the thing with the Bills. The Bills the last couple years have been very impressive.
Because Josh Allen intercepts more balls than he does actually get touchdowns in times that he needs it the most. Just saying.
It's good. It's definitely.
And the fact that they were actually very close to being eliminated, they barely, at the end, won the division. Because Miami just blew it at the end.
It's impressive. I don't know where he's right now because rumors saying he might want to get traded.
And it's still up there. He might actually get traded or released or trade. I think Stefon Diggs is going to get traded for sure.
He missed practice, all that scenario out.
What a
And
year.
every time they get so close, they blow it.
Yep.
So, I think it's kind of the same scenario about with San Fran. They're always so close, but they blow it at the end.
Yeah, they technically did against Kansas City. I'm just saying. Baltimore shared their fair share of blowing it.
Denver Broncos. Now,
Bronco country, let's ride.
Denver is a team where a lot of people said this was going to be the team to look out for.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, last year, that did not work
Uh-huh.
because Russell Wilson was
Horrible.
a flop.
Yep.
Now, what I
And he's actually also up for trading, so rumors he's going to Pittsburgh for a trade. I hope he does. Come to the AFC North so we can hurt you.
look at someone like them now, I mean, you got Sean Payton, who is a great coach.
See?
One of their main wide receivers is already hurt,
Traded.
hurt off the field recently.
Traded.
Russell Wilson just has to make it this year, but I don't
That
know.
didn't happen at all.
It's very tough. I just have to say they're mediocre.
They actually were very mediocre, so I was kind of right on that one. They were very mediocre.
Okay, Cleveland Browns.
Oh boy.
Now,
Now here's the thing. I have family members who are Brown fans. Boy, would I miss the mark on this one. I think I said playoff miss, but I think they were definitely a playoff contender because they did make the playoffs. I can't talk shit because they had Jersey Joe. And as a Raven fan, respect for Jersey Joe. But, man, what a year Cleveland had. The fact that Chubb got hurt, Watson got hurt. They went with Jersey Joe. Njoku balled out this year. I hate to say it. Cleveland's making their contendership for the new year. So, it'll be interesting to see how Cleveland does.
so as Raven fan, I would trash talk Cleveland.
Yeah!
I have family members who are Cleveland fans.
Yep.
It's still kind of tough to see where Cleveland's gonna go. They've always been so. The last 2 years, they've been nudging. The year before, they were a great playoff contender.
Mm-hmm.
Now I don't even know where they're gonna be. I think they're gonna miss the playoff.
They didn't. I was way off on that one. They didn't miss it. They made it as one of the top wildcard teams.
Just by a couple games because, well, it's Cleveland. They always have a way of choking at the end.
They do.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Oh, the Bucks.
You know what? A lot of people gave shit about Tampa Bay this year. Baker shut a lot of people up, so props to Baker.
A lot of changes throughout the years. They don't have Brady anymore.
No.
Now they have
Baker.
as their quarterback.
Get
A lot
baked.
of people are kind of wondering what Baker's going to show this year. The problem is that the South is such trash. I don't know
It
where
is.
they belong where.
It was.
Now I think they're gonna be a mediocre team because I don't think.
Boy, I was right. I thought they were playoff miss. I put them down, but mediocre. Well, that division was already shitty enough, but you know what? Tampa definitely was a playoff miss contender there.
Competition
Way off.
That division, I don't even see them being that far.
Nope.
Arizona, we already know where they're gonna go on.
They were definitely an early favorite, but I think they're the number 4 pick this year. And the fact of the matter is that they're going to get probably Marvin Harrison Jr. for a wide receiver, and Kyle Murray is hanging on by a string this year.
Nothing about them screams a contender for playoffs because the problem is they don't have anything that can actually.
And the fact of the matter is that they have the Rams, the Seahawks, and the 49ers. They are in shit land. And the fact of the matter is that Arizona is just one of those teams that they just need to get what they were back in 2004 when they had Kurt Warner, Larry Fitzgerald, Edwin James, that kind of team again.
Bring them better.
Sure.
Kyle Murray's the most overrated
Fact.
quarterback that got paid.
Fact.
And he's not even playing.
That's true. He didn't play for half the year.
Hopkins, something I was going to say. Well, just basically
He got traded. Actually, no, he got traded.
That's your wide receiver.
Oh, yeah.
San Diego. Is it Las Vegas?
L.A.
Okay. The Chargers.
Yep.
I don't know what they're called now. I used to
The
say
Lightning
San
Bolts.
Diego. I still consider them San Diego. Okay. They're definitely a playoff contender.
Oh, wow. Was I wrong with that one? They were terrible. Herbert got hurt, and after that, it went spiraling down. So, you know what? I was way off on that one. Way off.
Just progress.
They were so hyped up and just blew it. Now, will it change with Jim Harbaugh? Got confused with the Harbaughs, but will it change with Jim? Possibly. I can't say how this year's going to go with Jim.
More and more better this year.
Oh, yeah.
The problem is
Her
how
coaching
far
staff
they
sucks.
got. We looked at them last year. They were beating the Jaguars, and then they blew it at the end.
Yeah, they did.
That kind of shows that they're consistently good until last minute. Kansas City Chiefs.
You know what? I hate Kansas City with a burning passion. Taylor Swift ruined football for most fans because of her fucking... Everything about her was just irritating. Please, people, no more celebrity talks during the games like Taylor Swift. Please, can we have just normal football?
Playoff Super Bowl contenders. I hate to say it. Patrick Mahomes is just too good of a quarterback.
No, he's not. I regret saying that one. He is not. He's a joke. Kermit the Frog.
No. He's just way too good, and that's the problem. And he has weapons like
No, wait, I totally have to say it. He did not have weapons. He had only one throwing weapon of Travis Kelce and one running game of Pacheco. Tony couldn't catch a ball for his dear life and doesn't know the difference between where he's supposed to stand and where he's not supposed to stand because that's how they blew the game against Buffalo.
Kelsey.
Yeah.
The problem maybe this year, where do they go from here?
And the fact of the matter is that I still had that question to this day. Where are they going to go from here? Because the fact of the matter is also, Jones and Snead are franchise taggable, which they might do for one of the two, but one of them's going to be a free agent off the market. And I just pray that Baltimore thinks smart of drafting these guys.
And we'll have to see how that team does. Indianapolis Colts.
Yeah.
Wow. They are definitely an interesting team.
They are.
They just...
The fact of the matter is that Anthony Richardson had a great year before he got hurt. And Minshew didn't do exactly too terrible. It's just the fact that Minshew was, well, Minshew. You love him or hate him.
Did Anthony Richardson, basically their starter over Minshew.
Michael Pittman's also a free agent, so I wonder if someone's going to go for Pittman this year.
Again.
Yeah.
Their running back is probably going to get traded unless the Colts can't find a.
Wow, what about a downfall for people in fantasy? They drafted that this guy was going to be big. Nope.
And then he's going to have to suffer and probably sit out the rest of the year.
Yep. Mediocre?
I don't know, man. I'm going to have to say, with their division, mediocre.
Yeah, that's
I just
legit.
don't see anything different with them.
Oh, yeah.
Washington Commanders, a.k.a. the Redskins, please bring the Redskins back.
Yeah, I wish they still bring it back.
Anyway, this is the most... Actually, they made a lot of changes this year. I mean, they got Sam Powell as their quarterback this year. They were actually in a tough division last year. Because
No, I wouldn't say tough division, more like the complex division. Now they just did horrible. So, they're like number 2, or I think they're number 3 in the draft pick this year. So to see where Washington's going to go, that's going to be interesting.
everyone almost made the playoffs. So I have to say they've been pretty mediocre from last year, but the year before they didn't look consistent. They just need that impact that's going to give them that push. So I think they're going to miss the playoffs, but they're going to be very close.
I definitely was wrong on that one.
Those Cowboys. Oh boy, when do we
I hate them.
the Cowboys?
And the fact of the matter is that also, Dallas is one of those teams that people love and love to hate. And boy, I can't wait to see how Dallas does this year. Coming up, this is going to have to be Dak's big year to shine. Because their running back game is horrible.
Every time they've been doing good, they choke in the playoffs.
They did.
That's where they always belong.
Yep.
But the problem this year is that I don't even think I think they're gonna miss it.
They didn't miss it. They actually were, I think, first place. They were first place this year, and they still sucked. So nothing changed.
Even why I think they're gonna miss it is because Dak is not gonna have that year. They have all the weapons. They have everything they need. But Dak is the problem.
Still think that is the problem, Dak.
He's 105 years old. He doesn't know what's going on.
True.
They're going to miss it. I feel it.
I wish they did.
Miami Dolphins. Dolphins are kind of a questionable team. They're always...
They definitely proved me wrong because they looked great this year. I mean, they did make the playoffs, but they did choke against Kansas City because they played in freezing cold weather. But they had a team this year, so I was actually quite shocking that I got them completely wrong on this one.
The problem with Dolphins, they just got Jalen Ramsey, which is good.
Yeah.
The problem is, once again, just like the Cowboys, it's the quarterback issue.
You know, I was totally wrong with this one. I think Tua actually had a really decent year. He definitely wasn't in contendership of talking about with the coming of the MVP, so I was definitely wrong about Miami. Very wrong.
Tua gets hurt a lot.
He
so,
didn't
you know
actually get hurt that much
I
this
think
year.
they're actually going to miss it this year.
I was way off.
It's also a tough division. Philadelphia.
Way off.
Okay, Eagles.
What a year the Eagles have. I'm not an Eagles fan, but guys, for Eagles fan, how do you feel about your team this year? Seriously, how do you feel?
How do I feel about the Eagles? I hate them as much as Kansas City.
Do?
They were in the Super Bowl.
Blew it. No, they won it.
I think it's
No, they blew it.
very close again this year.
I was off.
They could choke.
They lost against Tampa Bay. Way off.
Depends on how the other division do this year.
They were way talked about way too much. That was the problem, a lot of it. They were hyped way to the point where people were saying, "Oh, Eagles are the team to do it," and then they blew it at the end because Jalen Hurts just sucked.
The Atlanta Falcons
Sucked.
Listen, I'm not saying much. Their quarterback isn't that talented. I don't really know much about him. He played for, 2 games last year over Mariota?
Yeah.
This whole hype about the running back seems absolutely nonsense because we haven't seen him play.
I always talk shit. I thought Bijan Robinson was way too hyped for his own game. In my opinion, I don't think he was good. But a lot of people said that he was actually an alright running back. But I have someone I don't like on Atlanta worse than Bijan. That's Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts sucks.
In an NFL field compared to college, so
That's true.
I honestly think they're not going to be good this year. Once again, they're in a very crappy division. You got Falcons, Saints, Panthers.
I would actually, I don't know. Do I consider them mediocre? They were kind of like a lot of talked about as being a possible division team, but then they just started doing horrible and fell to the roof. So mediocre, I would have said.
Bucks. I think the Bucks are going to do a lot better than the Falcons.
Yep.
But it's going to be who's worse between them and the Panthers this year, honestly.
Oh yeah, I was totally right. That God, I got Giants is a second favorite team of mine, and a little bit of my heart because they're in New York and I'm in New Jersey. Giants, what happened this year? Once Daniel Jones got hurt, you guys looked like you guys didn't want to play. You had a guy named Tony DeVito. Tony DeVito.
The second favorite team is the Giants.
And Saquon's also a free agent this year. So I'm actually hoping if we don't sign Derrick Henry, we sign Saquon. I'll take Saquon as second choice.
Giants showed up last year.
They did.
They showed up for the first time in
They didn't do it this year.
months.
Nope.
That's years. The whole Saquon Barkley situation, I don't know how that's going to go, but honestly, I think it's going to be...
He picked up his team.
Show the NFL that actually...
I was way off.
Tension. Dan Jones might have a year, or he could choke.
He
I
did.
don't know, they signed all that money to him, so here you go, Giants. Your dessert.
Yep.
Jacksonville Jaguars.
I can't believe how terrible Jacksonville did this year. They didn't even make the playoffs, and the fact that they looked terrible at the end, Trevor Lawrence just didn't look like Trevor Lawrence that we once saw before.
Talk about a shocker, because no one expected Jaguars to look that good.
Most people
A
did.
bunch of players that are probably ranked in the top 20. I have to say, they're actually going to be a playoff contender this year.
Huh, I was way off on that one.
They might go far.
They missed it.
But who knows? New York Jets.
I have one thing to say about the New York Jets. Do better. That's all I have to say. Do better.
Oh man, Jets. Jets. Suck. I mean, S.
Yep.
Jet. Sorry.
They did suck. So, not much has changed for that.
A lot of Jet fans.
It took only 3 plays for Aaron Rodgers to finally get to be out for the season.
Anyway, with the Jets, I do think that they're going to make the playoff because of Rodgers going to help. They have the weapons, kind of.
Yeah, that didn't work.
Mostly Aaron Rodgers weapons, kind of.
Kind of.
But their defense is good. I was going to say Sauce Gardner is just one of those players that just shows who he is. But I think they're gonna make it.
Kind of.
Detroit Lions.
Wow. I must say Detroit was a heavy favorite this year. I was surprised. We all begged that Detroit made the Super Bowl. People were expecting, hoping a Detroit-Baltimore just to shut the fans up.
Last year they were very close. They were that close.
They did better.
They almost made it.
They did better.
I don't know. Right now, I really think they're going to be first place in the. They're going to be first.
They were.
In their division, but
I was right. I was so right on that one.
Green Bay Packers.
Packers, man. I have to say, Packers definitely shut a lot of people up this year. That whole hype, what they're saying at the downfall of Green Bay, they shut a lot of people up this year.
Let's just say they had a year of getting rid of problems.
Yep.
Having their own problems. And now here we are. The Jordan Love train. Now.
Ooh, yeah.
Honestly, I don't even think Green Bay. If Eddie Lacy can give the team hope.
Yeah, it was Eddie Lacy. I don't know what I was thinking when I was thinking of Eddie Lacy. I know he played for Green Bay. Wait a second. Siri, does Eddie Lacy still play football for any teams?
12 seconds later.
No, he played for 2013 and played for 2016. He went to Seahawks 2017, and he never came back after this one. So, who was a running back? A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones. God, I was so way off from that one. I apologize in advance, people, about that one. I was way off. Embarrassing.
They could, but honestly, I think this year they might flop. They might go down to the top number one.
I was way off on that one. They definitely were a playoff contender, but I can't believe I got that one wrong. Both reasonings.
I just don't think they have everything they need for that team right now.
So I said.
Picking up the pieces.
Technically, they did.
I mean, even Bear fans right now are looking at this going, yeah, we're somewhat better than the Packers.
No, they did not. They said we suck more than the Packers did.
That is for one thing. Carolina Panthers. Oh, boy. Let's just say that they have a lot to work with Bryce Young.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is, I don't know how he's going to do on an NFL field compared to what he did in college. It's kind of like these other quarterbacks are just coming on. I don't know how they're going to do. Honestly, the problem is they're in a tough division. That's the situation. They are in a tough division.
Mm-hmm.
Not going to say a great tough division.
Yeah.
More of who can actually shine between the other teams.
Yep.
Unfortunately, though, they still need more work around of who they got. So, right now, I'm going to put them as the early draft pick.
I was right.
I don't know where they actually belong in that division.
The trash division.
Patriots, though, or is it different? You know, they kind of a weird team. It's kind of like
Bill Belichick's team that finally is not Bill Belichick's team anymore.
Just throwing darts.
How he is not signed to a team yet amazes the hell out of me.
He's one of those guys who I kind of question if he's actually going to be good this year or is he going
to be
terrible.
He wasn't.
I think they're going to be mediocre. I don't think they have a tough division.
Way off on that one. They were definitely an early number one draft pick favorite. I totally will say I would change that in a heartbeat.
But they're going to be widely close to a playoff miss, but I don't think they're going to be good this year.
Nah.
Las Vegas Raiders. Talk about a year of changes. They still have Devontae Adams.
Didn't show up.
They have Jimmy G as a quarterback.
Did horrible.
They do have Josh Jacobs, which I do love because he was one of my players last year for fantasy. He showed up when I needed him most.
Yeah, I was going to say when I needed him most.
I think right now they could shock me this year. They could shock me.
No, they didn't shock me at all this year.
Because of the fact that they still have a lot of work to do with that team.
Yep.
LA Rams. Let's just say that is a team of questioning a lot how they're going to do this year. Matthew Stafford's just coming off an injury.
I kind of was dead wrong with that one because I think Matt Stafford actually did a lot better this year than I gave him a lot of shit for. And the fact of the matter is they actually had a lot of weapons. I mean, Puka showed up this year. Cooper Kupp showed up this year. I would have to say I was dead wrong about what I expected LA to be.
running back, you got kind of consistent with Eckler. Cooper Kupp got hurt, so we don't know how he's going to show up. I mean, do they have Allen Robinson still?
No.
They might do. I don't know.
Nope.
In a tough division between them, the Seahawks, the Cardinals, and the 49ers, mediocre.
Way
There's
off.
something different with them. They're just... I think Stafford's, this is his last year.
Well, on the contrary, I must say I think Stafford might have one more year in him now, but I mean, Cooper Kupp pulled up this year. I mean, their running back game wasn't really phenomenal, but I mean, we'll see how it goes with the LA Rams the next coming year.
For Ravens, obviously, my persona, I would say, Super Bowl.
Yeah! They were Super Bowl contenders, so I will say, I was actually proven wrong. I was actually kind of nervous this year.
Think about this, though, as a Ravens fan. We just signed Lamar Jackson to a contract which I don't agree with.
Still don't agree with.
Saying this as a Ravens fan. We have OBJ. That makes me even more worried.
Yep.
Our running back, Dobbins, is consistently getting hurt, and now he's back.
Nothing changed on that one. This is a big play for free agent this year. Sign a running back who's decent, because I'm afraid we're not going to have Gus Edwards again this year.
Mark Andrews didn't have that year which I expected.
He got hurt.
To show up.
Nothing changed.
Justin Tucker, I'm mildly disappointed because you're a kicker.
I'm still am.
But in my state of the Raven fan, we're going to make the playoffs just because we're going to be that close.
Yep.
It's just going to be based on how we do the first 5 games, how we do in the middle, take the bye week, and zoom off.
Oh my god, I was going to say I was sweating bullets this year. I was nervous waiting for the game, like, this is the game Lamar's going to get hurt. This is the game Lamar's going to get hurt. Nope.
It's going to be between Bengals and Ravens for first place.
No, I was actually wrong. No one actually really competed against Baltimore for first place this year, but still.
It's going to be basically, if the Bengals have a good lead, then who's going to be more consistent between us and Cleveland.
Yeah.
Maybe Pittsburgh.
Nope.
Screw you, Pittsburgh fans.
Yeah. Fuck you, Pittsburgh.
The Saints, well, unfortunately, I think because I don't have...
They were too hyped. People were saying, like, Derek Carr coming to that team was going to change the Saints and all the players they had. Nope. Totally disappointed this year.
They're going to be a favorite. I think they're going to be in the playoffs this year.
I was way off on that one. Mediocre at best.
Back to the Saints. They have Derek Carr.
Nope.
Who's consistent.
Nope.
I mean, Kamara will be back after his suspension. Michael Thomas will be back, hopefully to his full potential. But they do got that other guy, Galay.
See, that was only good for fancy people. Galay was actually good for fancy people, or whatever his name was pronounced. Still, fancy favorite.
Whatever his name is.
Yep.
I think he's going to be showing up this year, so I do think they're going to win their division. They're definitely going to make the playoffs.
Boy, was I wrong.
Seattle. One of the most unpredictable teams to actually appear.
True.
The matter is,
Very true.
Showed up. For once in his career, he showed up. He shut the NFL up by saying that he's...
But then we went back and laughing at him again by saying, that's Geno Smith for you.
consistently shit, and now here we go. He has the weapon of Tyler Lockett, DJ Metcalf, that running back they had last year who was a rookie who killed it. I think they're going to be playoff contenders, just the fact that they're going to be...
They missed the playoffs.
Kind of battling.
I was wrong.
If Geno Smith shows up again.
That's the only thing I looked at.
Once again, I hate Pittsburgh. I don't like Pittsburgh Steelers. In my mindset, I say #1 draft.
Yeah!
But the problem is, I think they're going to miss the playoffs.
They did. What feel like I don't know. Pittsburgh is such a freaking weird team. But I hate them so much. I really can't give them any good compliments. What do they have on their team that I need? Nothing.
I think with this division,
Mike Tomlin. That's all they have.
in the past couple of years, if Pickett can show up,
Nope.
the running back can show up, and Najee Harris can show up, they can actually have a great year.
They could have, but they didn't do it.
They've always been choking. This is the first time in a while we haven't seen Mike Tomlin in the playoffs. That screams worry. Because if they keep being like this, Mike Tomlin might get fired.
But he's not getting fired. They can't get rid of him. There's going to be a year that he gets rid of. So, gotta keep my hopes up.
I agree he's going to get fired? Probably not. I mean, trust me, you fire him, every NFL team is going to be
True.
I think they're going to miss the playoffs. Houston. What more can we say about Houston? Let's just leave them there.
I totally was way off on that one. Man, I had to say. I apologize to any Houston Texan fan that watches my video or is a Texan fan. I'm sorry that I gave your team low hopes. Because, boy, was I wrong about that one. Because I gave your team was a playoff contender, almost in the Super Bowl. They lost against Baltimore, so I can't really say much again. Twice this year. But anyway, Stroud definitely shut me up, so I apologize in advance.
The problem with Houston, I don't know. They picked up 2 good draft picks this year.
They did.
Stroud, I don't know how he's going to do.
He did good.
If they can actually come up with a way to actually show up this year, they could be mediocre. They're not going to be top.
Wow. Karma does bite me on the ass when I least expect it. Can they do that again next year? I don't know.
Oh boy, Tennessee Titans.
Derrick Henry is coming to Baltimore.
I think they have Malik Willis at... No, Tannehill is still the quarterback.
Yeah.
They drafted one this year.
Levens.
And then they
Mr. Mayo Man. Mr. Heisman. Mayo.
one the last year. So you have 3 quarterbacks who are
Mid.
going to teeter-totter.
Yeah.
Derrick Henry is still King Henry. He will kill it this year.
I was way off on that one. He did not really do well this year. I don't think any big talk running back did good this year.
Problem is how you work around with everyone else. They just got DeAndre Hopkins.
True.
That can give Tennessee a weapon.
That didn't been used.
I think they're gonna miss it just by a game, though. Just by a game.
More mediocre to say the least.
Have Minnesota Vikings. They always show up this year. I don't think this year they're actually gonna be.
After Kirk Cousins getting hurt and now a free agent, I mean, I was going to say I was dead ass wrong with that one.
But I think they're gonna be second place. Detroit is just looking good, but the thing is, Vikings
Off.
have everything they need. They have Kirk Cousins who can actually show up for this maybe mediocre year.
True.
They have Justin Jefferson. Just work around what they have. They have Hawkinson as their tight end. You have tight end potential.
True.
But everything else needs to form in one.
Yeah.
Here, the Vikings said they had everyone.
Uh-huh.
So, as long as they're not going to change it, I obviously will stick.
And boy, was I wrong about this whole entire list, because now I feel terrible about how I treat most of these teams. But that's what's the fun is about looking back at your mistakes. I was way off on most of these teams. So, all I have to say is, maybe next year, I'll do better. You hear that, Michael? I'm going to do better again next year. So, thank you for watching, guys. If you haven't yet, guys, give this video a thumbs up. Comment your prediction NFL for the year coming up, the draft, anything you want to talk about. Let me know. As always, guys, if you haven't yet, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, check out the videos so you can see that Matter decided to put up, and check out the links where you can find me in. Thank you for watching. This is Michael, signing out.